What a wild week it has been in the news department, and today is no exception. We now have cell phone footage from the ICE agent involved in Wednesday's Minneapolis shooting. You're going to actually see the moments leading up to shots fired, including how hard the agent was hit by the vehicle. And then we have freeze frames showing where the officer was standing when Renee Good's wife actually yelled, "Drive, babe, drive." Yeah, she was involved in all of this. And if you thought this story couldn't get any crazier, liberal activists are now joining the fight against ICE, doing the same dangerous stunts that got Renee Good killed. Wait until you see the videos from today and ICE's response. And the media? They're spinning a news story. CNN is calling the two TDA gang members involved in yesterday's Border Patrol shooting a married couple. I'm going to cut through the nonsense and give you the facts. And finally, why every American should now boycott McDonald's thanks to a Minneapolis location's insane political stunt. Like the video, subscribe, and hang on, because here we go. In a shocking new video out of Minneapolis, so-called ICE Watch activists, yes, the same group connected to Renee Good, the woman that was killed during that ICE operation, are literally hunting down federal agents. They're chasing them, surrounding them, barricading them with their cars like it's a low-budget Fast and Furious sequel sponsored by Antifa. Take a look at this lunacy.
Can you pull behind them? It's ICE. They're trying to kidnap people. Please pull behind them. Park your car sideways, please. Dumb. You're not going anywhere. We have them blocked in, but we need more cars. Look at these losers. 2, 3. 2 of them in the car.
Real heroes of the resistance, folks. I mean, this is how people get hurt. And this is exactly the chaos Democrats have been encouraging for years. Here's law enforcement warning liberal women this morning not to make the same mistake that Renee Good made.
If I continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
Intimidate her. It's not illegal.
I'm not.
The right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning?
I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing,
She's
to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank you. Just so you know, if we continue to have you follow us, okay, have fun. Don't make a bad decision today.
Why are white liberal women so nasty and condescending? And now think about this. What would happen if conservatives were chasing down Democrat politicians, blocking their cars, screaming at them while they were just trying to do their jobs? Can you even imagine the media meltdown? It would be wall-to-wall coverage, emergency panels, and lectures about threats to democracy. You know what these folks need in their life? Jesus. And a reminder of what Chicago PD Superintendent Larry Snellings had to say just a few months ago.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger.
Now, he also rightfully says that if you're following law enforcement around, they have reasonable suspicion to believe you are looking to harm them, because why else would you be following them around for the entire day? Now, a message from today's sponsor, UPROAR. So the other day I asked my video editor if he had ever Googled himself. He said no, so I asked him if he wanted to see something shocking. Typed in his name, and within seconds I found his address and his phone number. I mean, you could pretty much Google anyone and find a scary amount of private information just like that. These sites, they're run by data brokers who collect your personal info, they package it up, and then they sell it to anybody willing to pay, which is usually the scammers. A friend of mine, she learned the hard way after a data breach. Her identity was stolen, fake credit accounts were opened in her name, and she was buried in nonstop spam calls. It took months to fix. That's why I started using UPROAR. Aura finds data brokers exposing your information and submits opt-out requests for you. So after a few weeks, your personal info, it starts disappearing from those sketchy sites. They also monitor the dark web 24/7 and alert you if your information is exposed. Plus, you get up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All you have to do is go to aura.com/Kerri Lane to try Aura free for 14 days. And now, as a result of this unfortunate incident, we're seeing the streets flooded with some of the left's finest people.
Shoot me! Shoot me! Shoot me! Go ahead! Shoot me! Shoot me! Shoot me! You want to shoot me? You want to shoot me? Shoot me! Go ahead!
Somebody needs to come get their Mima and make sure she has taken her medication. And it only gets worse from there, folks. Listen to the rhetoric coming out of a BLM press conference in Minneapolis.
This family should not wait for justice. And remember, we fought for Jamar Clark. We occupied a precinct for Jamar Clark. We did not get justice for Jamar Clark. But when the city burned, after George Floyd, all of a sudden there were some charges. So for those who are on the media talking about, don't burn it down, don't set it on fire, let me tell you this, we need justice and we need it now.
Yeah. This sounds like we're in for another round of mostly peaceful protests, just like we saw in the Summer of Love.
I know you highlight these peaceful protests on your show regularly. Do you think they do any good? Do you think that anything comes from them?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, I do. I mean, in political science terms, there's what's called the 3.5% rule, which is that if you look at authoritarian regimes of various kinds all over the world over the last century, once you have 3.5% of a population protesting nonviolently against a dictator or an authoritarian, that is essentially an unstoppable force that they can't oppose, and that precludes them from consolidating dictatorial power.
3.5%.
3.5%. It's not that much larger a number than what we're already seeing in the streets against Trump.
So when just 3% of the population takes to the streets, it's an unstoppable force. In her words, it's noble, it's virtuous, it's democracy in action, as long as it's aimed at Trump. But when 3% of the country rises up against leftist ideology, suddenly it's an insurrection. It's a threat to democracy. Sure, that tracks, if your worldview is held together with duct tape and groupthink. Now let's go ahead and check in on these very peaceful protests. Totally peaceful. If you ignore the throwing, the blocking, and the screaming. In New York City, they were chanting horrific things about Kristi Noem and ICE. The people who openly celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk are now openly calling for the death of Kristi Noem and ICE agents. But the media surely won't show you those clips. Unless it was Republicans doing it, of course. Also, it turns out some of these activists aren't risking their lives for democracy or justice. They're risking it for a paycheck.
Shame! Shame!
Do you have a job? Do you have a job?
Shame! Shame! I'm getting paid right now! Shame! Shame!
At least she's honest. I mean, this is the left's mission now. Intimidate law enforcement, protect criminals, punish anyone they disagree with, and rebrand total chaos as compassion. Now let's dive into that video that just came out today. This is cell phone footage from the officer involved in the shooting. You're about to see the moments leading up to the incident, including proof that the officer was actually struck by the vehicle. As you watch, I want you to listen for Renee Good's wife. You're going to see her in this video because she was involved. And she yells to her wife, "Drive, babe, drive," while the officer is literally standing in front of her car. Watch closely.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate
when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
Okay, so let's break this all down. Here's the freeze frame of the exact moment that the wife told Renee Good to drive, babe, drive. The officer is literally standing directly in front of the vehicle. And here's another freeze frame showing him again standing right in front of her car as he's drawing his weapon. Now, was her intention to run him over? Maybe not. But anyone with half a brain knows that you're putting lives at risk when you put an officer in a threatening situation. Most police-involved shootings wouldn't even be an issue. We could avoid this altogether if people would follow orders. And if you think you're being wrongfully detained, let your lawyer handle it. You don't take actions into your own hands that puts officers in danger, because this is what happens. And yet the left keeps having to learn this lesson the hard way. But if you ask Jasmine Crockett about this situation, which, let's be honest, nobody did, she's going to tell you that she claims the right has zero regard for humanity.
I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you? Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? A child.
I very clearly remember the left not only celebrating, but justifying his death. And Jasmine, I'm not buying your fake tears, because you said yourself on live television that you refused to honor Charlie after he was tragically killed for freedom of speech. Not because he was harassing someone, not because he was barricading officers in, not because he was endangering officers. No, he was shot because he challenged people to openly debate ideas.
The rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So if there was any way that I was going to honor somebody who decided that they were just going to negatively talk about me and proclaim that I was somehow involved in the great white replacement, yeah, I'm not honoring that kind of stuff.
Well, then don't get mad when we choose not to honor a liberal lunatic who thought it was okay to harass, box in, and refuse to comply with officers' orders. As for the investigation into this shooting, Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey, they're demanding the feds allow state investigators to join them. Legal expert Kerri, she says the feds, they don't have to give in to that demand. Watch this.
The feds investigate the feds. I think that's the simplest way to explain it. And what will happen, just as a matter of process, is the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division will take a look at the situation along with the FBI. They'll see if excessive force was used. I suspect that the Civil Rights Division will find that he did not commit excessive force at the scene. And then at that point, once they make their findings, in theory, the state could pursue a case. But here's where it gets interesting. At that point, the Department of Justice can say, well, we're not making our FBI witnesses and our investigators available. And the state needs that in order to build their case, because the FBI is the one investigating it. So effectively, that goes away. Now, I will say this. A new administration, when they come in, they could, in theory, reopen the case and take a look at it again, but that's down the road.
And to add to her point, Walz's and Frey's initial press conferences immediately after the shooting already disqualified state and local authorities from participating because they had all clearly made up their minds before any investigation even started.
They shared a message about the reckless ICE mobilization is not keeping us safe and led to the tragedy that the world witnessed once again. Our history, when things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation. On that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy.
And I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you.
Actually, it's on the Democrats for labeling ICE the Gestapo, comparing them to Nazis, and lying to the American people, claiming that they were deporting Americans and disappearing people. And speaking of lies, here's Adam Schiff blatantly telling another one.
To think about this 37-year-old woman drops her kid off at school, not involved in protest activity or anything, seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But at one point, she's waving other cars to come on past, trying to make sure that she's not in the way, although she's been pulled over. And then you see her trying to turn away from these officers, and the shots fired into the car. The wheels of the car pointed not towards the agent, but away from the agent.
Everything that just came out of his mouth is an absolute lie. And the folks over at CNN, they're not any better. Here they are describing the shooting that took place yesterday involving 2 Tren Aragua gang members and Border Patrol.
And now tensions are flaring even higher in Portland, Oregon, after a Border Patrol agent shot a married couple there. At least 6 people were arrested yesterday and overnight during protests in Portland. And according to DHS now, the border agents there were conducting a quote-unquote targeted vehicle stop of this married couple. They accused the couple of both being connected to the Venezuelan gang Tren Aragua and claimed that during the stop, the driver tried to run over the agents, and that is why one of them fired a quote defensive shot. No agents were injured in this. The married couple, they were both shot, one in the arm, one in the chest. Both are in the hospital.
Unbelievable. We've gone from Maryland dad to married couple. Well, let me give you the facts. This, according to DHS, they say, quote, the 2 criminal illegal aliens who attacked Border Patrol in Portland are a gang member and his prostitute, not an innocent married couple. They also let us know that the driver is a criminal illegal alien from Venezuela and suspected TDA gang member who was arrested for DUI and unauthorized use of a vehicle. He has a final removal order. The passenger is a criminal illegal alien from Venezuela and is associated with Tren Aragua, who plays an active role in a TDA prostitution ring and was involved in a prior shooting in Portland. Both entered the country illegally under Joe Biden. And Portland's Chief Bob Day, he claims they don't know the cause of the shooting, which is entirely false because I even had the details before this press conference happened.
I'm expecting many to want to express their frustration and disappointment with events today. As I said, this is early on. We do not know the cause, but we are engaged, and hopefully we'll have more information as the evening unfolds.
You don't know the cause, but you expect people to express frustration? That doesn't even make any sense. Or are we just supposed to read between the lines that regardless of the cause, you expect us to all be angry? Mayor Keith Wilson, just as upside down.
We are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace.
So letting Tren Aragua operate in your community provides accountability and peace? And so does allowing prostitution to happen? Their thinking is completely backwards. Here's Portland's governor actually defending these illegal criminal gang members.
We are all shaken and outraged by another terrible, unnecessary, violent event instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration.
You're shaken because TDA gang members were shot after threatening Border Patrol? Do they even hear themselves? And just to really put a bow on the insanity from the left, they've now taken McDonald's away from ICE. Yes, a McDonald's in Minneapolis is refusing to serve ICE agents, and I'm not loving it.
In this McDonald's in Minneapolis, there's a sign on the door that says ICE is not allowed. We couldn't help but notice there's a sign that says no ICE on the door.
Yeah, just to let you know, at the end of the day, this is private property. So you can't just break the law because you're a federal agent.
What's next? No ice in our drinks? Think about how insane this is. If you're an ICE agent, you enforce the law, no food for you. If you broke the law to get here, step right up. 2 cheeseburgers, a large fry, and how about a side of taxpayer-funded benefits? Criminals get compassion, cops get lectures, and border agents get banned from the drive-thru. That's the world we're living in today. All right, that does it for me today. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. If you've missed my video from the other day, it is up on your screen. You can click on it now and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and I'll see you all back on Monday.